Ozonated water benefits include increased glutathione, superoxide dismutase, catalase, red blood cell glycolysis rate, oxygen metabolism. They verified that it inactivates bacteria, virus, fungus, yeast, and protozoa.
Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I'm Wendy Myers of MyersDetox.com. And today we have my friend Eileen Durfee on the show, and she's going to be talking about ozone. She's going to talk about the dangers and the benefits of using ozone gas in water. It's a really interesting show because one of my most popular videos on YouTube is actually the shocking benefits of ozone therapy. And, ozone has tremendous potential, has so many different benefits. And we talk about how you can drink ozonated water every single day to kill pathogens in your body. We talk about how you can use it as a household cleanser to clean all your vegetables and your fruits, get rid of parasites on them, and kind of neutralize all the glyphosate and herbicides and pesticides that can be on your vegetables and fruits. And we also talk about how you can use it in your garden, how you can use it with your animals, so many different uses. So it's such an interesting show today. And for you guys watching the video, I'm in my backyard in Mexico, so excuse all like the birds and there's a lot of noise going on, but I'm in the Mayan jungle, in the Mayan Riviera, and there's lots of birds, and it's really wonderful. I sit out here every morning to have my coffee, but that's all the racket and the noise that you hear. It's such a beautiful day right now, and I wanted to do my podcast outside, so I did. And I know you guys listening to the show, you're concerned about heavy metals and toxins in your body. And many of you haven't done any testing and want to know your body burden of toxins. So I created a quiz that you can take at heavymetalsquiz.com. It just takes a couple of minutes to take the quiz. So go there, check it out, take the quiz. Afterwards, you get a free video series that answers all of your frequently asked questions about toxins. You also get your quiz results, like how toxic are you? How toxic is your body? So go check that out at heavymetalsquiz.com. So our guest today, Eileen Durfee, she's a former nuclear power engineer, and she's an auditor and an inspector. And she became really toxic from this job and suffered from allergies, chemical sensitivities, and thyroid disease. And during her journey to heal and detoxify and achieve natural health, she invented a lot of different helpful solutions. She takes her, her engineer mind and kind of rethinks how we can detox our body and creates tools and protocols to more effectively and easily detox our body. And she's really passionate about taking good ideas and creating better health products to support detoxification, energy production, mineralization, and natural health. And she's been granted a ton of patents. She's got a new patent on a back pain solution we're going to talk about in another podcast. Just lots of amazing products on her site on creatrixsolutions.com. Eileen, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Well, thanks for having me again.
Let's talk about ozone. So using ozone right now is really hot. I think people are becoming more aware of the benefits of ozone. So why don't we tell the listeners first what ozone is exactly?
Well, ozone can be in different states. It can be a gas and it can be dissolved in liquid. So ozone is actually 3 singlets of oxygen. It's O1 plus O1 plus O1. And that is unstable in nature. So there's a reaction that takes place pretty quickly after ozone gas has been generated because, positive, negative pairs. So a O1 will break off and leave pure oxygen, basically O2. So that O1 has an oxidation where it can actually destroy things. And so it's like nature's cleanser. Like after a rainstorm or there's been thunder and lightning, that fresh smell, that's that ionized, ozonated air where nature is cleaning up the atmosphere. And you can actually dissolve it in water. And then it's less reactive. So, but it can be used for a lot of different purposes.
Yeah. So
But
what are the
yeah,
benefits? What are the benefits of using ozone for your health, and how do you recommend people using it?
well, there's medical use of ozone where they will have a medical grade ozone generator that is fed by oxygen tanks. You get a prescription from your doctor and to refill the oxygen tanks. And then you can put it in bags, and then you can put it in orifices in your body, in your rectum, vagina, ears, all kinds of things like that. But typically, the most common use of ozone is making food safe, using it to, clean water, using it as a sanitizer. Because, like chlorine bleach, for instance, is used a lot as a sanitizer, but there's toxic byproducts. Well, the wonderful thing about ozone is like one molecule of ozone has the disinfecting power of up to 10,000 molecules of bleach. And so you're wondering, well, why isn't that toxic? Well, ozone is kind of selectively smart. Pathogens don't have a protective enzyme coating, like normal cells that are healthy cells that aren't infected have like a protective enzyme coating. And so ozone passes that by. It doesn't oxidize, healthy tissues, but it will oxidize pathogens. And it's something with COVID, it's like, oh, we're into antibacterial everything. But, there's lots of studies how that creates superbugs because, pathogens mutate against these antibacterial, chemicals and soaps and things. And so with ozone, the wonderful thing about ozone is that the pathogens can't mutate against it. It's like, I guess I could say, it's like having a pathogen that has a cell. It like blows a hole in it. It's like getting a hole punched in your tire. It's unrepairable, kind of thing. And that's what it does to the bad guys.
Okay, great. And so I love using ozone to clean my vegetables. So I have your ozonator, and I like to bubble it in water and create lots of ozone in that water, and then dunk all my vegetables and especially delicate fruits like strawberries and things like that, because it helps to kill all the bacteria and the pathogens and neutralize any like pesticide residue that might be happen to be on it. So ozone has so many different uses. I mean, you can, disinfect your water with it. You can. What are some of the other uses that you recommend to people?
Well, meat, for instance, they always tell you never rinse your chicken because it's covered in salmonella, and be careful not to get it on your sponge or your rag, because then you're just going to put the, salmonella everywhere. Well, with ozone, ozonated water, you can take a black light and you can see all the salmonella crawling all over the chicken. But people don't think about cleaning their meat, but you can put the meat in a bath of water and put the ball in there, and it will completely kill all of it. So it will make your food safe, even your meat. Or like, not everybody gets organic grass-fed food, or like maybe they get a cured ham. See, you can put those meats in the water and ozonate them, and it'll pull a lot of that stuff out. Just like you said, pesticides, herbicides, that kind of thing. It breaks it down, and it makes it safe. And ozone is used in a lot of industries. I mean, just about everything from bottled water to the dairy farm to growing crops, vegetables and, grapes, and because it gets rid of, powdery mildew and the small insect larvae, like you talk about washing your fruits and your vegetables, especially strawberries. It gets in there because there's microscopic parasite that we're ingesting. Like, say, if somebody juices something, they don't realize, the carrots and, all that, you can wash it, but there still could be parasite larvae, and then that goes in your body and hatches. So I love cleaning all my fruits, my vegetables, my meats. And then I'd use it for just the simplest things. It's like I get Mountain Valley spring water in 5-gallon glass jars, and I have a crock. So the whole top of this glass jar gets put in the water. Well, I want to sanitize that. So I actually take ozonated water and clean that off of there. I mean, anything I want sanitized, I'm using it, because it's like going to kill E. coli and salmonella 0.1 part per million in 15 seconds. The ozone generator that I sell uses air instead of oxygen fed, so you don't need, a prescription, but it will make up to, like, depending on the temperature of the water, like 1.5 to almost 2 parts per million. So it's like killing these things on absolute contact. So that's just one aspect. But the other thing I do is I make ozonated water and I drink it on an empty stomach. And it's actually pretty amazing. I just wanted to read something from the National Center of Biotechnology. They've got studies where ozonated water benefits include increased glutathione, superoxide dismutase, catalase, red blood cell glycolysis rate, oxygen metabolism. They verified that it inactivates bacteria, virus, fungus, yeast, and protozoa. And so there's just a lot of things from drinking ozonated water on an empty stomach that can really help you out with. And, I was concerned, I'm always wanting to create a gizmo that makes it easier to use something, so we can stack our hacks so things take less time. And so I created a ozone diffuser degasser. It's kind of like a filter cap that screws on a glass jar that actually diffuses the ozone gas in the water up to 10 times faster. So now when you have an ozone machine and you use this, I call it the refresher, when you use it, it extends the life of your equipment that you're investing in. And then the other thing that's great about this is that, not all of the ozone gas dissolves in the water.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a big problem is using ozone. You don't want to breathe that in. It's really bad for you to breathe it in, but I love that you create, I love your mind that you create all these amazing solutions to be able to enjoy the benefits of ozone without, having the dangerous or the problematic side effects that can come with trying to generate your own ozone.
Yeah, I mean, before I would turn on an exhaust fan, open the window, go in the other room, and then every once in a while after my coffee enema, I would like to follow up with an ozonated water enema. But, I couldn't ozonate the water in there nearby where I was doing it. So then therefore I wouldn't, do my ozone water enema. It was a hassle. So now I just wanted something that it didn't matter if somebody had COPD or asthma. Some people are just super sensitive to ozone. So I wanted to have a gizmo that I could have right there, not worry about the off-gassing, and then I could make my ozonated water, and then I could use it after a coffee enema. And so this little glass container with the filter cap, the granules in there basically just get rid of that extra O1 particle. So anything that comes off is pure oxygen. And it's simple to use and safe. People don't realize, ozone gas, it's like matter on Earth is either like solid, liquid, or gas. And gas is so reactive. It's like super duper powerful, where when ozone dissolved in water, Like a diffuser only dissolves 15% of the gas, 85% is going to the air. But water will only hold so much ozone. You just can't ozonate it for 24 hours and have the highest concentration. No, like after about 10 minutes, this water won't hold any more ozone. It's at its maximum. And so making it safe, having it finish quicker, like 10 times faster, like literally this 32-ounce glass will be completely ozonated in less than 5 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And so it's super fast. The other ones, it's usually a minute per ounce that you use. But yeah, ozonated water, a lot of athletes are using it now where they're drinking it and it's giving them extra oxygen energy as if they just had some kind of a supplement to jazz up their energy. And we can always use more oxygen. That's the other thing that I love about drinking ozonated water is a lot of us are sedentary and we're indoors, especially with the pandemic. A lot more people are indoors, but our heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems are stripping oxygen and negative ions out of the air. And so we want to do things to basically increase oxygen levels in our body, because there's a known fact that the body has like this threshold. It has to have so much oxygen. And if it doesn't have that oxygen, what does it do? It's kind of like if your car needs a new alternator, but you don't change it. So you're jump started all the time and then you drive it and you don't turn the headlights on. Well, the body begins selectively shutting down systems in the body. And so, at first you might not notice things, but if that goes on long enough, then you're going to develop disease. And so what we want to do is we want to give the body its oxygen. And the other thing is that protective enzyme coating that I was talking about, the cells, that actually helps cells so that viruses, bacteria, fungus, all those things can't invade the cell. It's like this first line of defense. It's like part of our immune system. And when we don't have enough oxygen, our body sacrifices that coating around cells. So then more cells are prone to infection. And so now all we have is our immunity. So with making ozonated water and not damaging your lungs, and having it to increase the oxygen, it will actually increase the amount of cells that maintain and keep that enzyme coating. And so it's just a phenomenal thing. And, a lot of people are out there, for years, I used to have like an ozone air purifier and I thought the smell of ozone was great. Little did I know that terrible indigestion that I had that I thought was from something else was actually a side effect of inhaling ozone gas. So it's like all these people out there that are using ozone generators and not putting two and two together, and with digestion being also our main immune function, anything that we're doing trying to help ourselves, we don't want to do harm as well.
Yeah. So it's okay to drink the ozonated water, but just not okay to inhale it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, you definitely want to degas it.
Yeah, and what happens when you drink the ozonated water? Because I know so many people they're lacking oxygen in their tissues, especially when they live at a high altitude. There's a lot of things working against us having properly oxygenated tissues, which is really important for a number of reasons. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, when you drink the ozonated water, see, the colder the water is, the longer the ozone gas stays in the water without having the reaction to oxidize and release. So with our body temperature, 98.6, and we're drinking it, it's like immediately coming out of solution, oxidizing bad stuff selectively because ozone is smart, and then leaving extra O2 to circulate, to get through our digestive system into the bloodstream. And a lot of people ask me, well, what about the good bacteria? because of the temperature of our body in drinking the ozonated water. That's why the NIH study talks about all these benefits in ozonated water, of what it did for the body, is because that reaction happens fairly quickly. So it's not getting through your whole intestinal tract to wipe out the good bacteria, but it is increasing the body oxygen levels and also increasing the cell enzyme coatings. And now there's a lot of people that will do like medical, what they call insufflation with the ozone gas. That can be expensive and kind of really harsh. It's like a real detox program, let me tell you. So it is a milder approach to use the ozonated water, like say after your coffee enema. You never combine the two, because the ozone will break down the palmitic acid and the caffeine in the coffee that gives its wonderful benefits, and it'll use up the oxidation power of the ozonated water. So it'll make both therapies less effective. So you always want to separate them, use them, separately, but it's a lot more gentle. But on that end, we talk about drinking it safe. It's not going to destroy your gut biome. But when you follow up with an ozonated water enema, that's going to do is that's going to kill everything. So a lot of people are doing stool testing and they have like bad bacteria or whatever. That's excellent, because it'll kill off the bad, it'll kill off the good. Then you can do implants. I'm not talking fecal transfer, but you could use kefir water and yogurt, or open up capsules of the right probiotic blend that you want to have populated in your gut, and then you can repopulate it. So it's just an excellent tool. It's just that everybody was endangering themselves by inhaling the ozone gas and not really connecting that their indigestion was because of ozone, or excess coughing. People would think that, I love the smell of ozone gas, it makes me breathe deeper. And I'm like telling you that was like a survival mechanism of your body, because the ozone gas actually competes with oxygen receptor sites in your lungs. So you're breathing deeper because your body says, I need more oxygen. And then your lung tissue is full of lipids. So it's oxidizing those. So it's actually giving your lungs, the skin, the cells, a sunburn, kind of like that it has to shed and it has to heal. And so, a lot of people aren't connecting with maybe some coughing or something that they think is an allergy. Could be because they've been breathing too much ozone gas as well.
Yeah. And so how many glasses of ozonated water should people drink per day? Like, what's your protocol for that?
I say every person is different. This is a powerful tool. So I would say the first time you make it and drink it, and the reason why we give you a generator is because there's a time limit. The reaction happens like if it's sitting on the counter in a cool glass of water, you got like about 20 minutes before it's like deactivated. Yes, you're going to have pure water. You could take water from a mud puddle and ozonate it to the point where it would be crystal clear and it would be drinkable and wouldn't hurt you. It would kill everything. But yeah, you've got to make it and drink it and start with like about 2 ounces and then work up from there, because I have clients who had trouble with migraines. They drank 2 ounces of ozonated water, 4 ounces of ozonated water, and their headache went right away. Gone, like vanished. But then I have another person who drank 8 ounces, just chugged it down the first time, and they got a headache. So, there's detox potential reactions with this. So every person's different. And so you just go slow and work up from there. Just remember, you've got to have it about 20 to 30 minutes before you eat, or 2 hours afterwards. And don't swallow your supplements with it. Again, the rule is it's going to break down anything that you take it with. So always on an empty stomach. And so, I mean, places like cancertutor.com, they recommend not as a standalone cancer treatment, but just for people to consume 2 liters of ozonated water a day. So you can go anywhere between 2 ounces and 2 liters, but it's getting more of a calisthenic of fitting it in when you're not eating, to limit, how much you're going to be able to consume. But now you don't have to worry, because the thing I always did before is I'd set the ozonator up, turn on the exhaust fan, and I'd go and I'd do something. And then I would forget. And I'd come back, and then it's been longer than 20 minutes. And so I was always, not getting my ozonated water in when I should. So now with this device, I can have it right with me. The ozone generator is small as well. Our new one is small. It's got a remote control. So you can pretty much set it up anywhere, so you're not going to forget to use this tool.
Can you show us the ozone generator that you created? Do you have one?
Yeah, our old one used to produce 400 milligrams per hour. This one produces 800 milligrams per hour. But the ozone generator life is still 8,000 hours. So between the more powerful ozone generator and the degasser diffuser that gets it into the water 10 times faster, again, you don't have to take very much time, but you're extending the life of your machine.
What is the name of this? So what's the name of your ozone generator?
This is the Trioxy Fresh. And I call this the Refresh. And they're bundled in a kit to where you save a lot of money if you buy the two, together. But this one also has an internal fan. It can run a lot longer than the prior unit that I had. It also has a remote control, or you can just punch on the keypad here to control it. And then it's got an intermittent function as well. That I use this without the degassers, like when I'm getting ready to leave. And, maybe I burnt whatever I was cooking and the house smelled, then I can turn it on. And then I can have it do an intermittent function, run for an hour, rest for 10 minutes, run for an hour, that kind of thing. So this one is a lot more powerful and capable than the previous Trioxy Fresh.
Okay, fantastic. And so what are some of the household uses for ozone as well? Because I have a little device where I use the Trioxy Fresh, but I have another device also where you can make this ozonated water and then use it for disinfecting any area. And it's way better than bleach or some of these other sanitizers, these really harsh chemical, very toxic sanitizers that a lot of people are using in their homes. The wipes, I can't stand the wipes, the antibacterial gels, just barf. I'm just not into those at all.
Yeah, well, that's the beauty of this is you can make a jar of this. You can get more jars from us and screw it on and just keep on making ozonated water and get clean rags. Like that's how I clean the walls of the inside of my sauna, to completely sterilize and clean it, the countertops, in the kitchen. I'll go around, because I got 4 grandsons that come over here. So the handrails on the stairs and the doorknobs, I'm just using it for sanitizing everything. And then if you have house plants, you could put it in a sprayer bottle and you can spray and mist them, because it'll help, if you catch it early to kill the larvae of the bugs. It will give it more oxygen, get rid of powdery mildew and mold. So you can use it on any plant, inside or outside the house. For pets, oh my gosh, pets, their skin conditions, the smell, everything like that. You can ozonate and clean them with the water. And we have one version where you can literally...
You can dunk your doggy in the ozonated water.
We have one machine where you just garden hose in, garden hose out. And I've got one place that's a dog kennel operation. and they're spraying down the dog kennels in the gravel, and it doesn't smell like feces or anything. And it's just amazing. And they're giving their pets baths with it. And, just all the itching and just the different things for pets. It's amazing. And they love drinking the ozonated water. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So.
Yeah. And forget the deworming, all those medications and things. I mean, I think it's just much better to give them ozonated water. It's much healthier.
Yeah. Between that and then a lot of garlic, in their food, that's a great dewormer for pets.
Yeah. And then they have great breath too, with the garlic, adding the garlic to the food. So let's talk about the difference between, say, the medical grade ozone machines and like the oxygen fed medical grade ozone generators and your corona discharge machine. What's the difference there?
Well, when you feed a machine with pure oxygen, it has no nitric acid, which is very important because when you're doing insufflation, that's like taking the gas and catching it like in a bag and then releasing that bag into your rectum, vagina, your ears. You don't want to have any nitric acid. So, then you ask yourself, well, why is a corona discharge? Corona discharge makes higher levels of ozone gas, more powerful. From the air, it actually uses ambient air to generate ozone gas. So there's no consumable. There's nothing that you need to replace on a corona discharge machine. There's other types of ozone generators that use sparks and these metal mesh things that actually in time get corroded with the dirt, and then they arc and it actually burns a hole through the metal screen. So you're always having to replace and maintain these other kinds of ozone generators. But with corona discharge, there is 0.003%. So that's tenths, hundredths, thousandths. There's 3,000ths nitric acid. So even less than 1%, 0.0003 is not suitable for taking that gas and putting it inside a body cavity. But it's just fine. I mean, that is so minuscule that when you're dissolving it into the ozone water, it's totally non-toxic. It's totally safe. So it makes owning an ozone generator very affordable, because the medical grade ones, the good ones, a couple $1,000, where this machine is like $249. But when you buy it in the kit, and sometimes we have specials, it's so affordable for something that is easy to use, safe, and is so versatile. Every pathogen has a contact time and a concentration for a kill rate. The city of Los Angeles ozonates their sewage for so long at such high concentration, it turns into pure drinking water. And so any of the household pathogens that we're coming across with ozonating this water and using it, it's going to be sufficient. I mean, COVID, it cannot live with ozonated water. And so, that's the name of the game is, washing your hands, keeping the surfaces clean, regular sanitization. And this is the non-toxic way to do it.
Yeah, and I just love this device. I use it constantly. I love ozonated water, and there's so many different uses and applications for it. I think it has to be the part of any home that's trying, you're trying to detox your home, be healthy, kill pathogens in your body. This is a replacement for toxic household cleansers, and there's so many different uses for it. And for me, the top thing is cleaning my vegetables with it. Super, super important, so that garbage is not going in your body, and the parasites and things too. So tell us, where can we get one of these? What's your website, and where can we learn more about it?
You can go to creatrixsolutions.com. That's CREATRIXSolutions.com. Solutions. And we've got an ozone section that you can read, because we've got the fresh, we've got the giant machine for the complete that you could use in a farming operation. I have one guy who does 4-H. So he raises pigs and, sheep and horses and all that. And he uses that machine with a spray, and he sprays down the pig pens. And he does it all year long, because he goes out and slops the pigs, and then he sprays it down. No flies. He doesn't even have to use miticide around the animals' eyes anymore for the horses or anything. And then there's a rancher that does chickens, and he set it up on a timer to do the automatic feeding, because normally there's so much algae in the troughs that they have to clean them all the time. Zero algae. And even this natural, so many areas to graze and, let the chickens run around kind of thing. There's always some that die every year from, hatching and growing these chickens. And after they implemented the ozonated water, they didn't have one loss. And it's like the chickens liked the water and they drank more, so they were healthier. And then, each one has like a little hen house where they can go in and nest and this and that. But, if you're growing chickens, sometimes you're going to deal with lice, and different mites that bother the chickens. Well, when they started misting down those, they even got rid of that. So, for the 4-H person or somebody who likes ranching their own food or whatever, ozone is indispensable. I mean, it kills bird flu on contact. And so you can just keep your animals and your flock safe.
Yeah, fantastic. There's so many different uses for it. I love it. And I love that, you're a nuclear engineer and you've just taken your genius and applied it to all of these different applications that we can use for detoxing our bodies and our home. So go to creatrixsolutions.com. There's also a link below this podcast as well, below this video. So Eileen, thanks for coming on the show. And everyone, thanks so much for tuning into the Myers Detox podcast, where I aim every week to bring you all kinds of experts on the show to give you helpful tips to help, detox your life, detox your body, and detox your home as well. Because you deserve to feel good. You deserve to feel happy and healthy every single day. And I want to help you achieve that. So thanks for tuning in every week. And I'm Wendy Myers of MyersDetox.com. And I'll talk to you guys very soon.
The Myers Detox podcast is created and hosted by Wendy Myers. This podcast is for information purposes only. Statements and views expressed on this podcast are not medical advice. This podcast, including Wendy Myers and the producers, disclaim responsibility for any possible adverse effects from the use of information contained herein. Opinions of guests are their own, and this podcast does not endorse or accept responsibility for statements made by guests. This podcast does not make any representations or warranties about guest qualifications or credibility. Individuals on this podcast may have direct or indirect financial interest in products or services referred to herein. If you think you have a medical problem, consult a licensed physician.